Dude, we're like live producing now.
Yeah.
How's that sound? Your
that's
headphones
perfect.
okay?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Sound good?
Yeah.
I have say some things.
Say some things. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, there you go. You sound good.
You went too
Good.
fast.
I went too fast. A B C. Hello. Okay. And
Yeah. So you're saying you're scared. It's yeah. I don't know what to think about that because like you get someone like Leno who's doing burnouts on the street.
yeah. Hello. This is it though, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Guess where I'm going to drop the show in. Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. Larry Chen is in the building. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
How are you, sir?
I'm good. Last time I saw you, you were wearing this funky outfit that you didn't mean to wear, which made me happy because it worked out for the shoot.
Homie, I was wearing... So, okay. So, Patty McGrath, who I've never actually met in person, which, considering... back it up, Larry shoots for Speedhunters, among other people, and did a great piece with I. And wait, where did I put it? I had it. Look, I had it up. Did a great piece with my vehicle, and we shot it down on the beach at Dockweiler. And Patty McGrath had emailed me and said, "Hey, okay, so we're gonna do this '80s thing, and Larry's gonna shoot it on film, and it's like '80s car." And he's like, "Can you dress '80s?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I have my like Radwood outfit. Cool, no problem with the Coogee, the whole '80s deal." And then I forgot to wear the Radwood outfit, and instead the outfit I wore was this awesome sweater that I wore like seriously. But then I was like, "Oh shit, I'm supposed to wear it."
It worked perfectly. I mean,
totally did.
The concept was '80s car, '80s costume,
'80s human,
yeah, and '80s, yeah, exactly, '80s human and '80s camera. You know, with shooting on Kodak Portra. 160 and 400 speed.
Is film the new vinyl?
Yes.
Is it coming back? Like,
yeah,
hard?
for sure. And you know, you see that in the industry, right? Like with vinyl, who's that? The artist that's now making vinyl again?
Oh well, like isn't Trent Reznor printing vinyl from Nine Inch Nails? Yeah,
that's
Trent
right.
Reznor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, now you have all of these companies, including Kodak, starting to make their old film again.
How exciting is that?
So cool.
I just talked to Thaddeus, our cameraman. You know Thaddeus, don't you? Thad Brown. He's like a big fucking Viking. He moved to Dubai a couple like 2 years ago, and it's very sad. We miss him. We get to see him rarely. He listens to the show, but I just saw at hhis Instagram he bought a 4x5.
Oh,
I'm so happy for him.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, large format's coming back.
So that's the thing about film is a lot of people are shooting film. That's fine, and I'm happy with that. But what a lot of people are missing out on is the actual publishing part of it. Like, you could shoot all the film you want, but what I want you guys to do if you're shooting film is I want you guys to actually scan it in, publish it, and then show people, you know, what it looks like, the grittiness and the difference. And if you see the pictures that I gave you or that I published,
here I'll pull up the ones that you sent me, which are the original files.
I didn't do anything to them. You know, I scanned them in. I got them developed.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's like dust spots and shit on
there's
here.
Like cubes.
Like, you didn't even really do a good job of cleaning your cameras.
No, here's the thing. Here's the thing is
how do I scan through these in?
This is from the actual developer, right? So I tell the guys who develop my film, like, this is what's called C41, and I don't actually do this in my own sync. I do black and white in my own sync, and
you can't process color film at home.
You can, but it's very, very finicky in terms of temperature and in terms of like making sure your chemicals are all right.
Like I went to college for photography and I majored in color, and like we would take our film to a lab, and then we had a printer at school, and we had a color enlargers at school, which were awesome. But I never touched color film once. Have you actually printed color film with your hands, or processed color film with your hands?
That's the thing is it's just not cost effective, and it's so much on dependent on temperature.
You mean like a sous vide?
Yeah, exactly. To make sure it comes out right. Whereas with black and white, you know, if the developer or whatever, it's too hot or too cold, you can leave it in for a longer time or less time.
Yeah, black and white's pretty flexible. Yeah, you have to try pretty hard to fuck
it's very
black and
forgiving.
White
So
film.
with color film, I send it out, and then unfortunately, most of the time, you know, it's tough.
My mother, This is the one my mother was talking about. This is me in the sweater. Actually, this sweater's brand new. I bought it at Deus. It's the most hipster possible. This sweater is a celebration of the fact that Deus now sells double XL shit.
Honestly, this is you. This is like we're looking at this portrait of you using my camera, with your smoked sunglasses.
That's great.
And
Sponsored eyewear in the shot.
Everything is so you got a little bit of the watch going.
I have your branded Speedhunters camera strap going on. I got my sponsored watch. It's great.
And there's a cool story behind that camera too. That's a titanium camera with a titanium shutter actually.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Nikon Titanium camera.
Yeah. Nikon FM2T. And it's like the professional camera of the time. And
really?
for me, the reason why I love this camera the most is it's one of the fastest, I think it is the fastest mechanical camera, meaning you don't need batteries for it. And it's like a fine watch, right? So you wind it and you can shoot up to 4,000th of a second with no batteries or anything.
Fully mechanical?
Fully mechanical.
Wow.
And it's a titanium shutter.
So it's like crazy action sports, like spin around and get something going by at an unbelievable rate.
I mean, the technology with this is just, it blows my mind what it was like before. Like I like using this today because of how good it is and how precise everything is. Like, and that's the whole thing, the difference between this and the other camera I was shooting with, which was the Leica M6, which is also like a fine watch in that you don't need a battery and you could shoot all day by just, the only thing the battery's for is for the metering, right?
Right.
So then
but it's like a watch like a quartz watch battery, and it lasts months.
It doesn't last that long, and sometimes I'll show up to a shoot and it's out, and I'll just guess my exposures, just based on experience.
Do you really? Yeah. Do you have a handheld light meter ever that you rock?
I mean, like
it's like an ambient one.
Well, I've never used that, but like now you can download things on your phone to kind of.
Oh, that's gangster.
Yeah.
Of course. Where have I been?
It's
cheating.
It's cheating. But yeah, like just to relate it.
App for that.
I know you're a big watch guy. And
watch, photography, everything.
Just to relate to that it's like it's so cool. You could hear all the little things in it. Like let's say if you do exposure that's over 1 second or like half a second, like you could hear the mechanical things spinning to get that perfect timing.
It's got this like that clatter. It's like a mechanical, like you hear it's not one sound. It's not a thunk. It's like a series of like.
Yeah, exactly. So then there's that. And then also this has a self timer, right? So you can actually do selfies or whatever. And it's the same thing.
It's like
you hit the self timer and it's a thing that's spinning. It's like weight that like has to spin.
It's like a wind up car.
Yeah, exactly. So this is just super fun to shoot.
What year is that from?
So this is I think it was first developed in the early 80s. This actual camera I think was a late 80s camera.
Bitchin'. What are these going for on the internets these days?
Actually, not that much. I bought this in Hong Kong for about $550.
Yeah, that's good. That's money well spent.
Yeah,
because that'll last the rest of your life.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah,
and like just like with my M6, even though that's not a 80s camera, I mean that's a whatever.
You don't even have to know anything about cameras to know that a Leica is an awesome camera.
Exactly. It's a good looking camera.
Yeah, no, that's the kind of thing you walk around the lawn at Pebble Beach.
Exactly.
You know. You fucker!
Spam.
There's evidence now. It's on video. Okay. You did it.
Yeah.
You did it, man.
All right.
So what are labs charging to process color film these days? I haven't. This is since 2004. I haven't looked.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even want to know. Like I just send it out and I just pay it, and I'm just like, because if I think about that, I'm like. It's just so much more expensive to shoot film than digital, obviously, and it's so time consuming. It takes me hours to scan this. I actually have a really nice photo negative scanner that just scans 35 millimeter.
Oh, I'm
120.
so jealous. Is it like a drum scanner?
It's. I don't want to say it's better than a drum scanner, but I think it's higher resolution than probably some of the best drum scanners.
A drum scanner was the best like 10 years ago. Again, I haven't looked. I don't know. And so what's the best now?
The drum scanner is fast, but this is just really high resolution, and I could scan up to 120.
Oh, what's it called?
It's a Plus Tech. They make it. It's called the Plus Tech 120, and yeah.
Plus Tech. I'm just trying to pull it up. So so our visual people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that.
Boom. Oh, it's not cheap, is it?
No.
$1,900 at B&H.
Yeah, I bought it when it first came out for $2,500, and it's worth every dollar.
You know what? These when it's a career move like this, you know, we're on a.
It's funny
no,
that you say.
Don't allow me no push. No, oh no! Get away from me, spam.
It's funny that you say that it's a good career move because the thing is, up until this shoot that I did with your car, I've only made $75 from selling film photos. Okay. And I've spent thousands. I mean, I have so many film cameras. I've spent thousands of dollars on this hobby, and I've made $75 back, which I was shooting vintage drag racing in Bakersfield.
Hilarious.
And the guy's like, "Oh, this photo's so cool. Can I just buy it?" I'm like, "Whatever.
$75.
How much do you have? $75? Okay, I'll take it." Yeah. And it was with my Leica, which I don't even know
so
how much.
funny.
You know?
Yeah. No, your return is terrible.
Yeah, what's a terrible? What
I
a terrible
stand
return.
corrected. That is not a good business investment. You might as well have lit it on fire. But my pictures look really good. I'm glad you have that.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. Is this was the first. I've done mini stories on film for Speedhunters and for other outlets, but this was the first one where it's like I actually just went out to shoot. And this was my intention, to shoot the story. Versus like I did one with Magnus Walker and Sun Kang before.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
But
that
they seriously
cool.
just said,
"I want to hang out with that guy."
Yeah, no, they're really cool people. But they're seriously like, "Hey, we're shooting this thing. Come by if you want. You don't have to come." I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna find you guys. They're in Angeles Crest.
Oh, it's really hard to find them. Anytime like
Yeah,
when you go shoot a thing, it's like, I know
exactly.
exactly where you are. I'll be there in 20 minutes.
Well, I mean, they're in Angeles Crest. Angeles Crest, dead ends or whatever around that time because it's in the winter time or whatever. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna take this road, and eventually I'm gonna come across them, And that's what happened. And I just had my film cameras, and I just shot a whole series of their two cars, that 240Z, and that famous 277.
Remember that? So
it's just
I'm gonna find it. I find it.
Oh yeah, there you go. There. So
Wait,
when
right
movie
here?
stars are car guys. So when I took that picture, oh no, go back. That's the feature of his car.
Oh,
That's the
well, that's
240Z.
I know it's awesome. Is that you? Yeah, it's a rocking shot. You are so fucking good at
Thank
the
you.
frozen car moving background.
Honestly, it's not even skill. It's a numbers game.
It's a science. It's not a skill. It's a science, and you are perfectly good at that science. Perfectly good. You are excellent at that science.
Thank you. Well, I mean, you see that shot. So we're looking at the shot of the feature that I did on his 240Z, Fugu Z, right? As
Is that how you
called it.
pronounce it out loud? I thought it was just Fagooz.
I don't know. I don't think there's a proper way to pronounce it.
I like Fagooz. I'm sticking with Fagooz.
And that's really another name. That's another thing that I always think about. It's like car names. Like when people name their car.
Yeah.
Like that's such an interesting thing. So like he named his Fuguzi, which it's a 240Z, and mine is Ol Orange Bang. Just like the drink.
That's a good one.
Yeah, like
I think it's cool when someone else names your car. Like
That's cool.
if you name your own car, it's not that cool. But if someone else names your car, you have permission to stick with it. I think. Right?
So what's the name of your Mustang? It doesn't have a name.
It doesn't have the. I put the IRS on the license plate, and so people have referred to it like that.
Yeah.
And I guess that's kind of. I don't consider that naming the car though. I think that's separate. I don't know, but what I say doesn't matter. But look at this. You want to talk? I can show off, even though Larry shot a different feature. My shit's on the cover of CarCraft this month. Go pick it up wherever magazines are sold or at carcraft.com. Shout out to John McGann what's his name? Phil? Who shot this? What's his name?
Yeah, John is awesome.
Who photographed this one?
I had a chance to hang out with him during Power Tour last year, and it was super awesome to have him as my co-pilot. And
Paul DiMolanta was the photographer. John was great. I like that
he's
guy
awesome.
a lot. Yeah. So go pick that up. Wait, so the science of shooting, what we're looking at right here is a photograph wherein the car is frozen and the whole background is in motion.
Right. So this is kind of like that whole Star Wars kind of thing. Like
Warp speed.
Warp speed. I really went out of my way to find a spot
I'm the asshole now.
in this area where you could see the trees blurred, on top. It's like this canopy, So what you don't see is the 200, 300, maybe even 400 photos that aren't in focus or aren't sharp. So like this is the one that came out.
Oh, so when you say it's a numbers game, you mean it's a numbers game like that mystery guy talking to chicks numbers game?
Yeah, exactly.
You mean it's a straight
But
up
here's the
math
thing.
problem?
What does it matter if you get one?
Oh no,
right?
it doesn't. In the age of digital, it doesn't.
Yeah,
I want to see you do that with a film camera, motherfucker. I want to see you blast through $800.
Exactly, and
you know?
that's kind of the fun thing about it, right? And then, like you said, with that guy hitting up 400 chicks, if he gets that one, banger, I guess banger.
That's all that matters the next day.
That's all that.
Yeah,
that's all that matters.
Yeah,
yeah.
But I was with you when we did that little video together at Grid Life.
Oh yeah.
Which actually really demonstrated, I think, if people want to go back and see how you do it, demonstrated the science of it as well. The key is having a stable platform to hold the camera, and you mount it on the outside of a car and then remote shutter it, which is genius.
Yeah. Well, the key also is to have the balls to do it.
Yeah,
right.
Most people are. Yeah. Most people don't want to hang DSLRs outside of cars. You and I are not most people.
That and also the balls to be able to keep up with these cars. To trust the driver. I mean, the thing is, you getting in the pocket of the door of that when the guy is drifting sideways, and you get your nose in the pocket. And knowing well that anytime he could transition the other way and take the nose off of that M2 or whatever you were driving,
the key.
M2,
The
right?
key is someone else's car.
Yeah,
that's
really
someone else's. That shit is scary as hell in your own car.
Yeah,
I recommend doing it in someone else's.
But is there a better view to drifting? There's none.
No, it was
that
shit was great. And I want to play the video into the show, but I can't because every time I do that, YouTube keeps trademark infringing me against myself. Anytime and I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube.
Well, it was just us being stupid.
It was so fun. If you Google the smoking tire Larry Chen, but I want to June 2016. Here's the photos you got.
Yeah,
I can show the photos you got without being. You got some hilarious.
The cover photo for this story. It was Grid Life 2016 from Gingerman.
Such a great picture.
What you don't see in this photo is that these guys are all barefoot.
Of course they are.
It's so
Grid
good.
Life, for those who have never heard of it, is like a motorsport music festival shit show party. There's track day and time attack and drifting, and then the tent city is just madness. And,
so do you know the story behind this photo?
No.
So what?
It's a guy in a 240 doing a burn.
Yeah. So what's crazy is this is seriously one of the truest car culture experiences that I saw there. This is ground zero for what I exist. This is why I exist. This is what gets me off. I love this so much because it was this guy. If you go down, he had this staff made out of beer cans.
I remember that guy
together.
Oh,
yeah,
I definitely remember that guy. Wait,
and
here we got this.
Yeah,
This one should say Larry Chen with a Matt Farah assist.
Right. Exactly.
Wait, here we go.
But this
guy, beer can guy, I know exactly who the fuck
he basically said, "Thou shall not pass unless you do a burnout." Right?
A toll is a toll, and a roll is a roll.
Exactly. So he wouldn't let anyone pass this road unless they did a burnout, and in order to do a burnout for these guys, a lot of these guys had underpowered cars.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah.
Fucking Poseidon.
Right. I call him Gandalf the drunk. So if what's funny is they used beer to pour on the rear tires of these cars to make people do burnouts.
Did it smell like Hopshin Bali?
Right. So it was this smell of tire smoke and burnt beer and
gross.
It was seriously such a good car culture moment. Because some people wouldn't do it, and some people, when they did it, look how crazy the crowd went.
This is a big crowd. Good thing there were no Mustangs around.
Yeah.
Har har.
I'm not.
Look at this guy. This guy has got his face 8 inches from a giant diesel tube. A 1988
with people in the back and everything. It's just, this is such a good car culture moment.
It was so crazy.
I don't want to condone this because obviously this is bad. You shouldn't do this.
This is really bad behavior.
But with that said, that's why the events like this, like at Got Bill, they have a burnout box for this kind of behavior. If you just have an itch and you want to burn your tires, there's a burnout box for you just to blow your tires, in which I think Grid Life in the future should have a
I
burnout
agree.
box.
I
Yeah.
completely agree. A burnout back. Hey, look,
Yeah.
that guy.
Yeah.
I think your pictures
Mhm.
capture this event so fucking well. You are, God, you're so good at this.
You know, and the thing is, the whole time I'm just having fun.
I know, that's why, because you are so in with all the
Y-
people. It's not because you're better at pressing a shutter than everyone else, but you are good at that. It's because you're always fucking there when anything cool happens.
You want to talk about fun? How fun was last year at Grid Life in Gingerman when at the after party? Remember, I got
Do you
that
remember
shot of
Super
you.
Soaker guy?
Yeah.
Did you shoot that?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
That was that Atlanta? Or
Dude,
was that-
I wish I could pull up the picture right now. No. This was in Gingerman, and the
Okay.
guy was like 3:00 in the morning when all of us were on that golf cart,
Uh-huh.
and someone stopped the golf cart with like 20 of us and had a Super Soaker full of beer.
Oh my god.
And was like, Farrah, and I was very, very drunk. But this was after we had
Oh,
taken
yeah,
over
yeah,
all
yeah.
those campsites.
So that's the thing is
I'm very
to
ashamed
me,
of what I did at the late night at Grid
I'm
Life.
so sad that I wasn't shooting a Hoonigan behind the scenes video of that because it was such a cool scene of it was like a Mad Max with golf carts.
Oh my god!
It was like
so crazy.
8 people to a golf cart, and we had like 10 golf carts.
And it was like 8 Formula Drift drivers.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like, Vaughn and then Chair Slayer and Hurt and like
Ryan Turk,
Ryan Turk.
Chris Forsberg.
Yeah, and
It
all these
was-
guys. And then me
it was the
and
18.
Jared Deanda
Yeah,
and you.
it was
and we
the
would
best
just
of the best.
raid people's parking lot parties. And they would be pissed right up until they figured out who it was.
Well, that's
and
why
then like their day was made.
that's why it was called Party Bullies.
So
They because we'd
I'd
come
not heard
and
that
we're like,
term before.
listen,
That's very funny.
you guys got to stop playing what you're playing. We're playing Flippy Cup now.
Yeah.
All right. If you don't play Flippy Cup now, we're just gonna destroy everything.
You don't understand what's happening right now. We now own this, and then
Yeah.
5 minutes later, it was like the time that it was. But no, a guy was like Farrah and handed me this Super Soaker
Uh-huh.
and wanted me to shoot him in the face with a Super Soaker full of
Nice.
beer.
Nice.
And my kingdom for that photo, I have it. It's just
Uh-huh.
not at the ready for this show. It's on my home computer, but I have a picture. I mean, he's maybe to you,
Right.
and it's and it's just the stream, and it's like blasting out of his face, and he's got this chest out like he's
Right.
ready to like take the assassination
Right.
bullet or whatever.
Just ready to
It's
take it.
so
Take it to the
crazy.
face.
So
That's
crazy.
so good.
What a great. But then did you go to Road? You were at Road
I
Atlanta,
didn't.
right?
I didn't.
Road Atlanta was like great because it was Road Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
but how Gingerman being small
Mhm.
is such an advantage to a place like this
For sure.
because like 6,000 people or 8,000 people
Mm-hmm.
feels like 15,000 people, whereas at Road Atlanta 10,000 people feels like 3,000 people because it's so spread out and people could camp like anywhere, and so it was just. It was awesome, but
Yeah.
it was just massive. And I think if it was me, I would actually try and keep it to smaller racetracks.
Hmm.
Although running Road Atlanta is fun.
Yeah.
But ultimately, Grid Life isn't about having a racetrack with heritage. It's about a fun party that
Right.
Is at a racetrack.
which is why
so-
Gingerman's.
Which is why
perfect.
Gingerman
Yeah.
is great.
Yeah.
I think like a Button Willow or
Mhm.
something, or would be perfect.
Yeah. Definitely.
Oh, wow.
All
Where
right,
do we go
so
from there?
yeah, what should we talk
I don't
about?
know.
So I actually posted on my Instagram asking
we
you know,
have that.
what we should talk about.
Yeah, we have that.
Yeah.
I have as well.
Yeah.
I have some stuff.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. Oh, here we go. This is an easy one right off our Facebook
Mm-hmm.
because it's to your expertise. What is the best way to get into car photography as a job rather as a hobby? It's actually very hard.
This is
Easy but hard.
such a hard question, and I'm sure a lot of it pertains to what you do too. Like people want to do the one take thing too, right? I mean,
Oh,
like so
yeah.
many people ask you about it, like how they get into it or
Yeah, and then
Like-
I tell them exactly how, and then they give
exactly.
up.
Well, here's the thing: is I say like, look, I've been doing this for 14 years, and it's not gonna happen overnight.
All right, here. Let's try this. Who was the first person to ever pay you to do anything?
So
related to
I saw
cars?
that somebody asked that question too. Actually, one of the first, not the first, but one of the first that I can remember from Formula Drift was Autosport Dynamics (ASD), who used to build Vaughn's car. Or well, they still build Vaughn's car, but they build They used to build all the Falcon cars.
Okay.
Remember that Saturn Sky?
Oh yeah,
And,
was that Tyler McQuarrie
so
driving that? Yeah.
Tyler was driving their 350Z that they built also.
Okay.
And they basically changed the game in terms of drifting, like coming out with cars that have 750 horsepower, which back then was unheard of.
It was V8s and
Yeah,
everything,
all
right?
V8s.
V8s in the Sky,
Yeah,
V8 and and the
exactly.
350Z.
So
yeah.
they're famous for basically they did their the Mustangs,
Uh-huh.
they did that 350Z, and they did the Saturn Sky, which all three were winning cars, and they obviously won a championship with Vaughn too. But they were one of the first, way back when they're like, hey, your stuff's super good, like let's work together, if you can supply us photos. And even the OG Formula Drift guys too. Vaughn has been buying photos from me. I've been shooting for him since I pretty much started following the series seriously.
So do you like when you go to a series, like will you shoot everyone's car and then afterwards go to their team's PR people and be like, would you like to buy these shots?
Yeah, and I guess I guess that's a simple way to say it, but like every single thing that I've done, every single series that I'm a part of now, for example, like Pikes Peak, I'm the official photographer.
Yeah, like that's awesome gig, by the way.
Grid Life, I'm the official photographer, and so on. All of these, I put in the time and the money and the effort ahead of time.
Like you went to one.
Yeah, I went to, for example, with Pikes Peak, I started in 2011. I went to every one except for one since then, and I just kind of proved myself, and I came out of pocket for the first
just
couple
like
times.
self-publishing.
Yeah, well, self-publishing
or publishing on Speedhunters, but you paid to get yourself
and
there.
publishing on Speedhunters and publishing on whatever media. Like even before Speedhunters, I would do it on forums.
Okay.
Car forums.
Yeah. Okay.
I would go to car forums and post pictures from whatever event. Or,
Yeah.
Like I would pay my way to go to Japan, to go to Europe, to go to Asia, anywhere across the U.S. just so the pictures exist.
Yeah. I think it's pretty easy to get published if you are willing to attend a thing on your own dime and you're pretty good.
Yeah.
And you submit them to a small to medium size outlet. I'm sure a lot of them would be happy to get free content.
And a lot of it comes down to, it's just so simple, like especially with shooting some things like events or car shows or whatever. I'll get better pictures than the next guy because I'm just there to begin with. You know, I just
that's how
effort.
Ferrari got good at racing.
Yeah.
I just finished Enzo Ferrari's autobiography.
Yeah.
Seriously, the math on a Ferrari and winning races.
Right.
Like whenever there was strong competition, they got smoked.
Yeah.
But they just showed up at like every race.
Exactly.
When other manufacturers like didn't show up for whatever reason, they won by being there more.
That is so much of it.
Yeah.
And being on time and being personable and making friends with the people there. Like so much of that is that, that too, with your job, you're talking to so many people, meeting so many new
being
friends.
Cool helps.
Yeah. And that's the point, is making friends and working with your friends, and over the years, I've been lucky to meet so many people that want to work with me.
That is lucky. I mean, it's not lucky because you earned it, by working. But I think, there is more to it than just taking a good picture. Because a lot of people can take a pretty good picture, but take a good picture and also figure out how to like be at the right spot at the right time and not be a pain in the ass. And be cool.
I'm sure you can agree with me. It's the littlest things, even like picking up your rental car, booking the right hotels, and like just being like doing all of that leading up to me being in front of a cool car while they're doing a cool thing is so much.
Yeah.
It takes so much just to get to that point. I mean, even, not missing your flight and like those little things, everything is so hard. The easiest part is taking the picture,
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of logistical stuff that's just like, how do I not completely destroy this business right now?
For example, with your one takes, you got all these cars lined up the same day, right? To try to get as many as you can. And there's just so much of it, like, you got to remember to press record on, all your GoPros.
Dude, that's actually, I've fucked that up before.
Exactly.
I'm not going to say I'm perfect.
Yeah,
I've had days where I've gone home with, like, no audio.
Exactly.
Oh, God.
it's just all those little things that make it so hard. And you know what? If it wasn't fun, and if it wasn't our dream, it would be so hard to do
the highs outweigh all of it. But
yeah.
like, there's just, it's just, honestly, it's a lot of common sense. To me, it's a lot of common sense. There's not that much math.
You think it is. You think
I
it's
feel like
common
it
sense.
is, but I don't know. It's also, there's a grind, right?
Yeah.
It's just, especially in the beginning, it's like,
Without a doubt. Yeah.
how long did it take you to be like, I'm going to pursue photography as a career before you got enough money to not have to do something besides photography?
Yeah, and that's the thing is like right out of high school, you know,
Did you study photography in school?
I did not.
Oh.
No. And hindsight, the only thing that I wish I studied more was English, so I could write better.
Yeah.
Because I'm a terrible writer. Lucky for me, I have good copy editors.
Yeah,
you know?
Patty, dude,
Yeah.
for a dude who's never met me before,
Uh-huh.
that guy like nailed my
Yeah,
steez
right.
down. It was
There you go.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta hang out with him
Yeah.
whenever he's in LA.
So, outside of high school, I just fixed computers, did house calls, sold computers, anything like all the nerdy stuff. You know?
Really?
And for 2.5 years, I was a paparazzi full time. And
Like
like
freelance
legit.
paparazzi, like chase people around?
yeah,
Fuck.
chase people around
What?
in my
How?
S13
Are you
hatchback.
serious?
Yeah,
How
straight
did-
up.
Wait, you were like, wait.
Yeah.
Hang on a second.
Did I just blow your mind or what?
Yes. Yes, you did.
So I've shot everyone. I've shot.
what
no,
years are we talking about here?
Uh,
What do I
so
need to
from
look-
2000,
what do I need to look for?
7 to 2009, I was
Really?
full time paparazzi, and in between
Peak
before
Lohan?
that,
We talking about Peak Lohan?
peak Lohan, peak Britney, peak.
Shaved head Britney? Fuck off with shaved.
I
Tell me.
didn't shoot shaved off Britney, but shaved off. I've shot Britney when it was like insane. When
Really?
it was like, if you got one picture of her, it's payday. Wow. Yeah, like
what was one picture of Britney worth when that was a thing?
when it was the peak. It was a common knowledge that if you got a good, clear picture of her, and it wasn't like, I mean, nothing to do
doing
with
anything.
like, doing anything.
Walking down the street.
Doing anything,
Yeah.
you'd at least get $5,000.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
One frame.
One frame. And I have
I'd run a fucking red light.
Yeah.
For
I don't want to
What
say
should I
this.
look for
Yeah,
some
so-
visuals? Do I look for Larry Chen paparazzi?
So if you search Larry Chen Speedhunters paparazzi, you'll see like my intro article to Speedhunters was a bunch of paparazzi
No
photos. Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait. Wait, so you had a 240.
Yeah, see,
You had a 240, and was this like initial D, but for paparazzi? This
there's
is
a picture
this
that
the
I
most
took
LA.
of there's a picture. See, look, that's
back
my
up, here we
picture
go.
of Brittany.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And not only this,
So
this
this-
is you through a sea of paparazzis of Britney.
So I have a great story about this. I only got this picture because I think that video guy. Oh no, the guy with the blue shirt, the
Wait,
blue
hang on.
sweater.
I zoom in for you.
Yeah, the guy with the blue sweater picked me up by my neck and moved me.
What? The guy here?
Yeah, he was so angry that I was like in front of him blocking his shot that he picked me up by my neck and moved me to this spot where I was shooting this
Oh,
photo.
and look at his terrible
Yeah,
shot. And
exactly.
Your great shot.
And I got a great shot
oh, go
of
fuck
this,
yourself.
of just
enemy
this
pap.
scene. Yeah, this scene. How cool is this scene?
That's craziness. It really makes you feel bad for Britney Spears, honestly.
Yeah, and you know the funny thing about it is there's these times where we would follow her and it would be a green light and it would be red and it would turn back to green again and it would turn red and we're still going through that intersection. That's how many paparazzi are following her.
That is so
And it would
crazy.
even be to the point where she would be like, you know what? I'm over this. She'll get out and a paparazzi will get in her car and drive her car for her. And we would all follow her to her house. No joke.
What?
Yeah. It was a different world. It was just so crazy.
That is the
And
craziest
it's-
thing ever.
it's
Does
so-
it eat your soul doing that shit?
You know what? I sleep well at night.
Do you?
I'll tell you right now. I've shot I've shot Michael Jackson. I've shot
That's
everyone you can
crazy.
think of that was big. I have shot Miley Cyrus. I
Like,
shot.
Here's a question: Should we feel bad for Britney Spears in this scene? Because
I don't
did her
know.
publicist call TMZ and tell everybody that was going
I don't
on?
feel bad because this was on Robertson Boulevard, and you go there. It's like across the street from the Ivy.
From the
You go
Ivy.
there
Yeah.
if you want to be seen.
Okay.
If you don't want to be seen, you can be like Sean Penn and move out of LA or whatever. You know, like
Yeah.
if you don't want to be seen, it's so easy. But if you want to be shot and if you want to make a big scene, you go on Robertson Boulevard across from the Ivy and you shop for nothing.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like there was no reason for her to be there. Seriously.
Like
There was no
There's
reason.
no good stores on Robertson.
Yeah. But if you look down, I'll show you some more photos.
Wait, yeah.
I guarantee. I'll tell you right
This
now.
is so crazy. I did not know this about you.
Every
Wow.
single time.
Is that Halle Berry?
No.
Hmm.
Keep going.
Racing.
Yeah, racing. You're over the racing.
Boring.
Yeah.
These are boring.
Yeah, keep going. Keep
Come on,
going.
give me the-
See.
Oh, that is Halle Berry.
So
by
that's
the way.
Halle Berry.
Yeah.
This was on a red carpet, but look at it.
Yeah.
Like I tried to bring that professionalism.
I have
guess,
to be honest. That is a really good picture of Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it is
So
a really good
No.
picture. Of Lindsay
she doesn't look too bad in this picture.
I would
right?
fuck Lindsay Lohan in
So-
that picture for sure.
Here's the story with this. This I caught someone else's flash.
No way.
Yeah. So
Lucky Lindsay
she's in
Lohan.
her 911
Oh.
and in the passenger seat, and her girlfriend at the time was driving it. Girlfriend, you know.
Oh,
like-
Samantha
yeah,
Ronson,
yeah,
right.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So then I was shooting through the front window with my 24-105, and then somebody flashed her from the side, and I caught his flash.
Wow.
Can
Lucky.
you believe that?
Yeah, that looks like 5Gs.
It
at
looks
peak Lohan.
it looks good, right?
Hell yeah, it's like a fucking Vanity Fair cover.
So this I was shooting full time. Like at this point, I was a full time paparazzi,
Look at
and I
that.
worked for an agency. Look at that.
Great
duck
Miley
lips.
Cyrus.
Yeah,
Miley Cyrus giving you that sass.
yeah. So, and you look at this Paris Hilton photo of her
Holy
getting
shit,
in a
is that-
911.
Oh my
Um,
god. The paint.
So the difference is I took the extra step to get a different angle. So
Yeah.
I hiked up 4 stories on top of a parking garage to get this photo because I saw it. You know, I guessed that this scene would happen, and it did. And she's even lit
You
perfectly.
caught a bunch
Yeah.
of other people's flashes.
Other
Yeah,
people's
yeah.
flashes. The reason why this photo sold
This
versus
photo
all
works
these
'cause
other
you
guys'
got
photos.
the fucking shot of the
Exactly.
scene.
The scene, I used it to my advantage.
Yeah, all
See,
these people's photos show
how
nothing.
good
except
do you think
maybe
that
this
guy's
guy.
photo came out?
No, maybe this guy, but his front on her driver's side front wheel, maybe has a good shot.
Yeah, but I
Not
mean,
your
like,
shot, though.
I don't know. And that's the thing is, I'm like,
That's
you
an
know what?
awesome
I'm gonna
shot.
take that sacrifice. I'm gonna go 4 stories up on this parking garage, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot this. You know,
Wow. That's
Yeah.
gangster. I like that shot
Yeah.
a lot, actually. That was very good.
yeah.
Not
So
bad. Fucking Larry Chen.
That's a-
Paparazzi.
it's just a
So
different.
were you like with your 240 when you were chasing?
Oh yes.
Were you were there other people that had like
Here's the thing.
hot rodded
is-
vehicles for chasing paparazzi?
Here's the thing. The top guys drove the best cars.
Really?
No joke.
What are we
So
talking about?
I'm
What
talking
kind of
about
vehicles?
SRT8s.
Jeep, SRTA Jeep would be the
yeah,
one.
Jeep,
Best paparazzi
Range
car.
Rover, supercharged.
Mhm.
Those were the 2 biggest. Like, if you're a big dog paparazzi that makes 6 figures, that's what you drive.
I remember when what's his name? Adrian Grenier made that
Yeah.
paparazzi film about the kid.
Yeah. So I've shot with him.
With
I've
Adrian
driven
Grenier, or the
yeah.
kid.
both.
Oh.
Adrian is super cool. I've shot him many times, and he always interacts and he always talks, and he's just a nice guy.
Yeah.
And that kid, Austin is his name. I've
Yeah,
shot with
Austin.
him. I've shot with him quite a bit.
Is he still a paparazzi?
No,
That-
he
Was that a whole
He's
thing a kind of a goof?
was a goof. He's a came from a wealthy family. He's a nice guy. And I made friends with him. He drove a M5, V10 M5.
Baller.
Yeah.
Yeah. He sounds like everyone I went to college with who was from LA.
No, he's super cool. he just wanted to do it for fun, and nothing against him. Like,
Yeah.
it was a good time to be with him and all of the guys that I kind of was going around LA with. Our team was called Alpha X.
You had a team.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It was a team of photographers.
No way.
Yeah, and I was the smallest.
Would you pull your shots together or would you?
Well, that's the thing is
how does
there's
that
the
work?
front door, back door, side gate. Also,
Oh my god.
we got to work as a team, right? Yeah. It's
This is
it's
crazy shit, dude.
paparazzi. A lot of people when they think about paparazzi, they think that it's just these stupid dudes getting in the way with no plan and just chasing. Like, we were the real deal. We were. We remember license plate numbers. We had the flights. We had the, dinner
That's
reservations. We
so
were
fucking
it was
crazy.
the real deal. We even had a professional partier, embedded professional partier
Stop it.
that would party with the celebrities, and then
tip you off.
they would tip us off to the point where it was so accurate, like the timing of it and the license plate
Was the
numbers and
partier like
she was just embedded. We
so
and the best part is we didn't even know what she looked like.
that's so funny.
Yeah.
Just got like anonymous tips.
It's such a crazy world.
And wait,
to
when
this
they had
day,
so they had these whips, right? They had these fast SUVs was the move, right? Would they be like would they set up like they would put curtains and shit in the back so they could like hide in the
So
back, right?
I had
Mad DL.
2 cars that I used. I had my S13 hatchback, which was a 5-speed 91. It was like perfect. It was the perfect for me, at least. And to keep up with these guys like the SRTAs, I really literally had to go redline every single stoplight to try to keep up with them. They're driving so fast. And then I had my Nissan Titan, which was like the undercover one. I had a curtain, and it's just
like, did you have like a cap on the bed and you had a curtain back
No,
there, or
so
you just in the cab?
in the cab. I had a curtain where if I parked somewhere, you couldn't tell that I was in there. And I would have an ice chest just to keep cool, so I wouldn't have to keep the car running.
Really?
Yeah.
You'd straight open the cooler
Yeah.
and it would
Yeah. It gets that crazy. Let me tell you. I mean, people don't realize that it's like
Dude,
that.
all right.
You
Who
know,
was
like,
doing like diapers? Somebody was doing diapers.
you mean like professional racing drivers when they're like doing like endurance race, they
just
just have
go.
to let it go.
Just go. We confirmed. I went on Spike Ferriston's podcast, and we confirmed that Matthew McConaughey had a van with a tube, a funnel, and a tube.
Really?
That went down through the floor,
Uh-huh.
and he could piss while driving around. It was apparently for road trips.
That's amazing. Well, I mean, that's the thing about off-road racing. When you're walking around in the desert where there's off-road racing, you just see a bunch of condoms on the floor with tubes coming out of it. They're just catheters,
Oh,
because all
that's
of the
very
Baja
gross.
racers have to wear catheters because they're not going to stop.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good point.
They just
That's
keep going.
Gross thought, but
Yeah.
a reality. Yep.
Which, by the way, I've stepped on many of those by accident.
What do they call it? They call them something jellies, something. What is there? I don't know.
All right, so what's
I
next?
don't know. I'm
What's
looking. I'm
next?
looking.
What's the
I'm
next
trying to look
picture?
on your Instagram right
Yeah.
now, which is definitely not as civilized as Matt's weird, ugly fabric kink would be a good topic. Did you see the fabric for my 911?
Oh no,
Oh,
the
dude, wait.
grimace.
Look at this. This is
Oh my
boom.
god,
This
that's
is
so good.
I called it originally. I've called it Bankrupt Atlantic City Casino.
Oh,
But
I love
someone in the comments correctly pointed out public transportation bus,
Yes,
and that's
yes.
actually
That's
what it-
so good.
And now I can't unsee the public transportation.
I love
bus.
that.
And we're
that.
mixing this all with burgundy leather for the rest of it.
I swear, I took the Santa Monica Big Blue Bus and sat on.
And that's
this.
it?
Yeah.
Someone called it airport monorail, which was
that's so
which
good.
is
It
very
looks so
as
good.
well.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely not carpet. It's definitely
It kind of reminds me of that Solo Cup, like that 90s Solo Cup.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So good.
Oh, here's a good question. People want to ask about photography. Focal length for static shots.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
like to shoot a longer lens, as do you. As
Yeah,
I
and
saw.
it doesn't really matter, I guess, because but for me, I like to have one long lens and one short lens, and typically, if I was shooting a car feature, I would have a 35 and a 135, and which allows me to get this whatever shot I need to by just walking forward or backing up. What people don't realize is like a lot of people are like, oh, I need every focal length. I need a zoom lens because I want to have every focal length. What if I want to zoom in? What if I want to zoom out? With cars, it's so easy to step forward and step backwards.
Well, unless you're at a racetrack. Unless you're shooting racing.
Well,
shooting racing,
no,
you need
not
length.
even. It's not like shooting a red carpet where you're packed in like sardines. Where you
That's
literally
true.
have a 1 foot by 1 foot square where you can stand on.
That's true. What do you need for that? 300.
Well, that's the thing is with the red carpet, you want to be able to reach every focal length. You know.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Whereas,
Because you can't.
yeah, because you
move.
can't physically
Yeah,
move.
I gotcha.
If you're shooting something like I don't know, football or basketball, even where you're sitting on the sidelines, you can't physically move.
Right.
Whereas at a racetrack, there's so much you can do. You can walk backwards, forwards. You know, you can get on top of towers or whatever. There's so many things that you could do to change up your angle, and that's why I would rather have that option to shoot at different f-stops and trade it off for zoom.
Fair.
You know, so I'd rather have a lens that's f2 versus f2.8, and then I can just whatever walk forward or walk backwards. But guess what? When it gets dark, I could shoot 2, or I'll just be a jerk and shoot 2 all the time. You know, because I like everything out of focus. You know,
I want 1 inch of this car to be in focus, and everything else can fuck off.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, if you notice, like, for example, when I was shooting your car, even though I had a zoom lens, I would lock it in. I would just back up, and I would back up into the sand. You know, I don't care. Whatever.
Oh
I would just lay down.
You got sand.
Yeah. Yeah. I would lay down. I get different.
Dirty.
And that's the thing is like what people don't realize is you can get the same proportion of the car with a 135 or a 35 or a 200 and a 35, you know.
I find if I try to shoot a car with like a 35 though, I find when I fill the frame, I do get some distortion.
Right.
Whereas if I step back and shoot it at a 70 on my I use a 70 to 200.
Right.
On the 70, I don't get as much distortion.
And that's really the thing is like with the 35, it's on the edge of that.
Yeah.
Right. So like for me, the 50 is when it starts being pretty much flat.
And
then
don't they say that 50 is your eye?
Yeah.
50 is the human eye roughly.
Pretty much. But for me, I take it just a little bit past 50 because of the fact that the subject that I'm generally shooting is bigger. You know, the car is just a bigger thing. Like if I was shooting people most of the time, I think I maybe lean towards 50 more.
Yeah.
But because cars in general are bigger and I'm trying to tell that story about the car or whatever, with 35, I'll get the same proportion as if I'm shooting. Sometimes I'll even shoot with a 400 just for a car feature, but I'll back far.
Yeah,
back up
like,
so
you're
far.
like 100 feet away from the car.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it'll take up the same amount of frame as if I'm shooting with a 35, but it just has a different look.
Right.
You know, I'm trying to shape the image to how I exactly want it to look like. You know. Yeah.
I like that. That's very thorough.
Right.
Ooh, are you a speed hunter or are you a hoonigan? Basil Designs wants to know.
I replied to that.
Oh, you
already,
did?
But maybe it's below. But yeah,
Well,
I said I'm a little bit of both.
The point was to talk about it on the show, not to respond to his Instagram comments.
I'm a little bit of both. I guess it doesn't really matter. It's the same thing, really, right? Like hoonigan maybe is like the harsher side of car culture.
There's some grimy fools,
right? So then,
and that's a compliment to them. I don't get all like Pharaoh is talking shit.
Right.
I'm not. I called him grimy on his fucking show. They are grimy.
How about
I love
this?
Them.
I bring more of the guys at Hoonigan. In fact, they've actually put this as my title in the videos. The professional hoonigan. You know, like I feel like I bring a little bit
suit?
of yeah, exactly. I'm the suit. I'm more about the you know, the beauty of car culture and the story of it. Not so much the jumping. Let's jump off this
so fucking
ramp
funny.
or whatever.
You know what I just heard when you said that? I heard Larry's the one who's going to talk to the cops.
Oh, that's so good. Exactly. So then with Speedhunters, I bring a little bit of that grittiness. You know, I guess I'm in between. You know, but the nice thing is I get to do stuff with both. You know, I like to do stuff with everyone.
You know what's so funny about Speedhunters is it takes something that like is pretty grimy, like you know, a weekend at a track day.
Right.
Is a pretty grimy thing.
Yes.
And it makes it very clean and polished.
Uh-huh.
I find Speedhunters to be a very clean and polished. Just the look of the site and the look of the photography. It's, you know, it's very vivid, and the photography in general is like real clean. I think it's such an interesting contrast to how it feels.
It's definitely it's definitely photo focused. You know, visually focused, and we're very positive about everything. You know, and that's
well.
Like car reviews, even the worst cars that we've shot or reviewed, we're always positive about it because honestly, that's kind of one of the things that a lot of people. I guess I don't really like that about car culture. You know, like there's too many haters. There's so many haters. But I guess
Oh,
that's what
I'm
makes
ki-
it
I guess I'm
interesting,
kind
right?
of a hater. No, I mean, here's the thing: you're featuring cars, and this fucking slammed POW that is on that is on Speedhunters right now is fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, you guys are featuring people's personal builds.
Right.
Here's
right.
where I think when I drive people's personal cars as well, I try and be as positive as I can
Yeah,
because
yeah,
someone has modified this car according to their own personal
Exactly.
taste.
So they like it, and that's their life.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
when they wake up in the morning, that's what they think about. And
Yeah.
it may not be our cup of tea, but they love it, and I feel like we should take a second look at it because of that. You know?
I completely agree.
Yeah.
But I think for me anyway, when someone is building something and then trying to sell it, that's
Mm.
when
Mhm,
it's like,
mhm,
okay,
mhm.
everything can't necessarily. It might be. I mean, I've driven some cars. I don't know if you've had a 488 Spider for any length of time, but I have nothing bad to say about that car.
Right.
You know, but
Yeah.
like,
I just did a Hoonigan video where I went to Dream Racing in Vegas.
oh, I saw that.
Yeah, where I drove the
Oh,
488, and I
yeah.
seriously, they call me the Lambo hater because, you know, I drove the Huracan,
Mhm.
and then I drove the 488. I'm
Mhm.
like, oh my god, the 488 is such a good car.
488s are
It's
glorious,
amazing.
isn't it?
It really is a video game car. It's too easy to drive, but it
It's so
sounds so
fast.
good. Sounds good.
Yeah.
So fast.
Yeah.
Everything about it feels good. The texture of it and everything. It's
It's
just so
very
good.
nice, and it isn't any bigger than the Huracan,
Mhm.
but it seems a lot roomier inside as well to me.
I don't know. It's just the Huracan is just a different
like Huracans.
machine. You know, like it's louder.
It's very loud.
Like in terms of visual, like
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
so loud. And that's why I'm sure that's why you're a Porsche guy too. That's why I'm a Porsche guy because they all look the same to the public, you know? Like
Yeah.
they don't really care. If a Porsche drives by, they're not gonna be like, oh, this prick, you know?
I like Porsches because they are very accessible and comfortable.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm as
yeah.
a guy with fucking back problems and shit, and who I take my car to the grocery store all the
Yeah,
time and
yeah.
whatever. Like those cars just work so well
Oh,
at
yeah.
life. That's how I became a Porsche guy. I think.
They're usable. you know,
Yeah.
and that's why they have so
Yeah,
many
but
miles on them.
most of the modern exotics are very usable as well. I had an NSX
Right.
for a week that was very
The
usable.
McLaren 570S is
I
amazing.
had 7 hours in a Ford GT, not so usable, not much storage in there.
Which, by the way, that Ford GT, I can't believe how narrow the cockpit
the
is.
cockpit,
Yeah.
is tiny,
If
and the
you
whole
had-
car is so wide.
If you had your twin sitting
it
in
was,
that, it would
dude,
be
it was
tough. huh?
so silly. The video, I'm gonna pull a picture up. It's loading very, very slowly. It is a very beautiful car.
Yeah.
And the cockpit is extremely narrow, and the ass is very wide. And
Yeah.
I would, even with my little fiance,
Yeah.
I'd be touching.
Well,
very
that's the
close.
thing is it's not meant for another passenger,
race car.
you know?
It's
It's a
very-
race car. And the design of this car really makes me happy to know that even with all the regulations that we have in terms of like the car has to be this high or the
Yeah.
headlights have to be like this or bumper crash, whatever, it still can look this crazy.
Yeah, extremely.
Which
crazy.
is just so awesome.
When
What-
you put it next to other like normal cars, like
Uh-huh.
I picked it up in Carson and then I drove straight to the mountains and I
Yeah.
stopped at the bottom of the mountain to go to Panera Bread and get a
Uh-huh.
bagel.
Yeah.
And I parked it in the parking lot like next to, an Altima.
Right.
And it's like, what the fuck? Like it doesn't look like anything else.
That's the thing is like, for example, the P1 is the same way. I'm like, man, if they
Oh,
could design
yeah.
something like that. I shot the P1 next to a bunch of MP4 12Cs,
Mhm.
and I'm like, they all look like Toyota Camrys.
Yeah.
Compared to the P1.
Yeah.
You know, and what's crazy is like you look at the Bugatti Chiron, and then it has the US bumpers. Have you seen that?
Oh God.
Oh,
the
my
U.S.
goodness.
bumpers. Oh, they're a
Oh,
disaster. Wait.
I
if
hope
you
it's like
seen those. Hang on. Give me a second.
I hope it's like the Countach where you could just take them off.
Yeah, or remember the imported McLaren F1s?
Yeah.
It was brutal. So here's the European spec.
Yeah, which is
Right.
just so beautiful.
So
Everything about that car is
focus
amazing.
here. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously the Chiron is a spectacular
yeah.
looking car. So focus on either side of the plate.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for a US spec.
You know,
now.
I
Do
don't
any
think
of
you'll
the press
ever. No, I don't think they would allow that. You should
I have to
type it in. Yeah.
US spec.
You should.
sorry.
I don't think they would allow that to leak.
Here.
Oh.
And this is literally what
It's
they have
so
glued.
bad.
It's just, it looks like they shrunk wrapped 2 volumes of encyclopedia and stuck them to the
You know what's
bumper
funny
the
is
long way.
that I
It's
have
so
that. I have that.
Here, look, and look what we found, Larry. Here's your awful
Oh man.
Lamborghini.
Oh, that looks
Oh.
so good. So here's the thing: is if you look at the Chiron US bumpers, I have something similar like that on my 911 Turbo.
Yeah.
2 rubber things that stick
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
But those don't look so bad. And
These
let me
are
tell
really
you what,
terrible.
I got rear-ended in my Turbo on the 405, and so bad to the point where I looked back. I looked at the Prius. The bumper on the Prius was destroyed. And then I looked at my bumperette, and it says Toyota of Long Beach backwards, like
In the rubber?
In the rubber, and there was no damage at
That's
all to
fine.
my 911.
996 Turbo, right?
996 Turbo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those little fucking rubber things.
Yeah, they saved my car.
Yeah, and if you had a Bugatti,
Oh my
you'd
god.
take these shits off in 2 seconds.
Yeah,
wouldn't you?
and then it would be like $500,000 worth of damage.
Dude, do you think if you have one of these Bugattis and you took these bumperettes off
Yeah.
and you got rear-ended,
Oh my goodness.
do you think your insurance claim would be denied?
Oh, probably.
I bet
probably.
it would. I bet you'd get. I bet they.
What would you do?
Because the bill would be like $1 million. I bet they'd be like, sir,
it's salvaged.
you took
Yeah.
you took the safety equipment off. Go fuck yourself.
Oh.
And then you owe like $1 million.
Yeah,
but
so-
they're so terrible looking.
Oh my goodness.
You can't. There's no way to take.
So
a
then
picture
how
of them.
did the Ford GT get away with? I mean, you look at the Ford GT and the P1. It's,
don't know.
Maybe it's just the structure of it has that. Or I don't know.
I don't know. Well, let's go back to my Ford GT picture
It's
and let's see what it looks like. I think it's got to just be like the shape of it,
so like
right? Let's look at the back of the Ford GT.
yeah.
So the
there
back
is
of
a
the
bumper.
Ford GT is just. I mean, it has like a bumper,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
right
it's a
below
proper
the
bumper.
exhaust. It's got
Yeah.
a high exhaust,
Yeah.
but it's recessed.
Yeah.
It gets really, really hot back there, by the way. I put, it's got one of those, the dumb little trunk. Like, it has this trunk, look, that's
Oh
this
yeah.
big.
Yeah.
And it's like, it won't even fit a helmet. And it's right above the exhaust. And I had to disassemble my kit, take out my case, and put it all here. I picked that clamp mount up, just a metal, whatever clamp mount.
Mm-hmm.
I picked it up after like the hour drive home.
Yeah.
And it like seared my hand.
So you know what that's good for, right?
Cooking.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the things I just came from Moab, and one of the things that we do on the trail is we get a bunch of cold burritos and put it in the engine bay of the Jeeps.
Oh, okay.
And then midway through the trail, like come lunchtime, we have hot burritos to eat.
yeah, that
right?
works.
So that's what you do with the Ford GT. It's
cook back
It's
there.
4 burritos. Yeah.
For burritos.
Yeah. So after your canyon run, you're hungry. You go into the frunk or whatever, wherever this is.
No, that's rear.
Oh, that's the
It's
rear.
Yeah, yeah.
The
front is
hatch,
all
and then
radiator.
you have this glowing hot burrito
and then you
to enjoy
It
inside.
would be glowing. It'd be
Yeah,
really
yeah,
hot.
Exactly.
I was just at the 24 Hours of Lemons.
Oh, okay,
Sonoma at Hooptycon.
Yeah, yeah, I heard about that.
Well, look at this shit. So they had a competition
mm-hmm.
for cooking.
Oh,
You had to cook using your engine. That
Wow.
was the thing. So
wow.
so this gentleman right here made bacon, lettuce, and tomato toasties,
Mhm.
and he literally was cooking the bacon
Uh-huh.
directly on his exposed header of a BMW 4-liter V8. And there
And
was
he
a-
was like catching on fire.
and there was a girl sitting there revving the engine while this guy's cooking bacon.
That's amazing.
And I was like, how do you get the headers like okay to cook off? And he goes, brake cleaner. I fucking hate the thing. And then get this.
That's
Wait,
amazing.
here's a guy. I hope this video doesn't have sound. And just checking. It does not. Perfect.
Uh-huh.
This guy hooked up something called an extruder
Uh-huh.
to his actual engine. And it's a machine that turns like this cornmeal type substance
Oh, it's like pasta.
into Cheeto. No,
Okay.
Cheetos.
Oh.
It's how you make Cheetos.
Interesting.
And this guy was making this shit, and it was a little rubbery, but I mean, he fundamentally made Cheetos using a 92 Thunderbird.
That's pretty cool.
Really crazy.
That's
speaking
pretty
of,
cool.
Speaking of engine,
You know,
cooking.
now what I want to know is if anyone, what's that method where you put it through hot water?
Sous vide.
Yeah. So if somebody disconnect their coolant,
And sous vide using the hot
Yeah.
coolant
yeah, how cool would that be?
next year.
Yeah.
Next
That's
year,
a challenge.
Next year
That's
in
a
Jerusalem,
challenge.
my
Yeah.
friend.
So
It's
you
actually because what is your coolant is going to be 180 degrees idle, right?
well, I mean, you could set it, right?
That's true. You have a
Yeah,
thermostat.
yeah. You could set it based on the fan too, right? Like
That's a good point.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
what is
then
your-
and then you just you have to not shrink wrap it, but like take what is it when you put it in the film to and then vacuum.
you vacuum seal
pack
your
it.
food.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
vacuum seal
Oh, I
it.
do this at home all
yeah,
the
yeah.
time.
Then you put it in the hot water,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, you basically like back in the day at the drag strip, we would cycle. Not we, but there were these guys who we would go with
Uh-huh.
who would cycle their coolant
Uh-huh.
through a cooler
Yeah.
sitting next to the car.
Right.
And that's how they would cool their engine down
Ah,
faster
yeah,
to
yeah.
run like 8-second quarter miles in their
Right.
Mustangs or whatever.
Right.
We would do the opposite, where we
Ah.
would cycle the hot coolant through, but there wouldn't be any ice in the cooler.
Yeah,
it would
it would
just
just-
cook your.
A bunch of steaks. Bunch of steaks. They would be so tender. Oh, they would be so good. I would love that.
That would be so
Yeah,
funny.
that would
You
be
just have
so
a
good.
tap in
Yeah.
your coolant
Yeah.
line to just sous vide.
But it has to go back in to cool the
That's
engine.
so
right?
funny.
It has to go back.
You know,
Yeah.
you do this over at Jay Leno's house with this. He's got like steam engines. He's
Right.
ready to go with this shit. That shit is so funny.
That would be so good.
Oh my god, what a great idea! Yes, sous vide. Cool. Jeez, we go from paparazzi to sous vide with coolant.
So
Fuck
let's
me.
check out the next question.
Oh, are there more? Let's see. First car and crazy car experience. That's basic.
That's too generic.
That's
stuff, huh?
basic. Anything but watches, please. People get super offended. when I tell you. God forbid you. We're not talking about watches. We didn't until we read your comment. How about that, suicidal SI? We weren't going to talk about watches at all, but then you brought up watches,
Mm.
which you're not wearing your GMT, Larry. I'm sad.
What's that?
Don't you have a nice Rolex? Don't you have a vintage Rolex?
I don't know what the heck you're
I thought
talking
you
about.
did. I thought you did, buddy. We're not talking about watches. By the way, if you're not following along, it's Larry_Chen_ FOTO photo,
Or just look for Larry Chen.
or just search Larry Chen. I've been seeing anything from New York Auto Show, any of that kind of stuff. Do you follow the new cars?
Not really. I mean, it's tough for me because I have to spin it in a way, for my audience to
Yeah.
make it interesting. Like, it has to be a really cool car for it to be interesting.
I have
You
a
know.
question for you,
Yeah.
actually.
Mm-hmm.
Since you have attended so many car events,
Yeah.
both for work and for spec and for play,
Mm-hmm.
what are Larry Chen's top 5? No, in no particular order.
Mm-hmm.
Top 5 must attend car events before you die.
Before you die.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm interested in this.
I think that's hard, but it's easy at the same time. I'm like Pikes Peak.
No pressure. I'm not.
Pikes Peak is
Pikes Peak.
is up one
as
in
a
no
spectator.
in no particular order.
Okay.
Okay. So Pikes Peak as one spectator, but you have to be at the W's. You have to be at Devil's Playground because you could see about 30 to 40% of the race course.
From the W's.
Yeah. So that's kind of
Does everyone else know that, and therefore it's hard to get a good spot at the W's?
yeah. Well, and a lot of people are like, all right, let's just stay at the starting line or let's stay wherever. Like so. If you look at
I'm just googling Pikes
yeah,
Peak, the
if you
W's.
look at the images.
The starting line
Yeah,
seems
so
like it would
that
be
way
a
you
super.
could see.
Oh, here we go.
No, go down.
No?
No. Yeah, that's my
Okay.
image.
Oh, here we
Yeah.
go.
So that way you could see this whole scene.
Yeah, that's an entire complex you could see.
Yeah, but
That's brilliant.
beyond that, you could see so much to your right, to your left. You could even see,
We'll go to
because
the-
that's above the tree lines. Trees don't grow up above 12,000.
Oh, so you have
feet.
super long viz.
Yeah.
Here, we'll check driftphotos.com.
Wow, this is just an old archive of some stuff. But
Turns
anyways,
out you were still good even in the old archive. These are very nice.
yeah. But anyways,
So that's a good spot. Okay,
yeah,
so
that's
Pikes
a good
Peak.
spot.
Yep, I
Pikes
agree.
Peak, Bonneville Speed Week for sure. I think
Bonneville's on my short
it's
list.
because it's just a different. It's like a different planet. It's so weird to be out there. And my pro tip for that event is go before the sun's up, watch the sunrise, then go back, take a nap, and then come back for the sunset.
Skip the middle of
Yes.
the day.
Skip the middle of the day.
That advice applies to almost anything in Utah in the summer.
Right.
I mean, doesn't
But
matter what you're doing.
especially on the salt flats, like you will literally get your balls sunburned if you're wearing shorts.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it
that's
is.
a thing.
That's a
Balls
thing.
sunburn.
Well, a lot of people
Yeah.
will get their underside of their nose sunburned.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the reflection, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I can handle that, but
So-
balls seems
and-
awfully
yeah,
terrible.
I mean, think about it. Think
Yeah.
about it.
No, I'm thinking about
if
it now.
if you're wearing shorts and you're wearing loose underwear or no
Salt-
underwear at all,
Salt is reflective.
it's reflective.
Yeah, that's bad.
Here's the thing. Everyone's seen my floppy hat, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I'm talking about, right?
Get a floppy hat.
That's where I
also-
got my floppy hat at Bonneville.
I'm glad it's lasted. But a
Yeah.
floppy hat is a must.
Well, it hasn't lasted, but I've had a lot of floppy hats since then. But that's where I got the idea of it, you know, because they were selling it on the salt. I'm like, let me get that hat. I need that hat to
Yeah, it's
to
like-
protect
I think
myself.
tax is like $60 in the salt. Like if you're out here and you need
Yeah.
this, it's like that gas station in San Simeon.
Right, right.
If you need gas here, it's
Yeah.
like $8 a gallon. Holy shit! Look at this Pikes Peak
Yeah.
picture that Larry got.
This guy almost got his head cut off.
Was he okay?
He was okay. He walked away.
Holy shit! Good thing he
That's
had
an
this.
old champ car.
Good thing he's got the halo around
Yeah.
it. Otherwise, he would have no head.
That's an old champ car, which is
Fuck,
just so
that's
crazy.
gnarly.
He hit it pretty hard.
Is this him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Good thing. I'm glad he's okay.
So, and then
Okay.
other
so
events.
Pikes Peak, Bonneville,
And I have to say Goodwood Festival of Speed.
Festival of Speed over the other one. Which
Well, I
is
haven't
Revival.
been to Revival. Which, by the way, if I do go to Revival, I will wear a railroad outfit, like a railroad.
100%.
I will, you know,
100%.
I got to be period correct, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Are you? I'm sorry. Are you going to play into your own racist
yeah,
stereotype?
exactly.
Good for you. Lean into.
But I'll have 3 camera buddies on me.
it. Lean into the race. Can you have 3 cameras and a big sledgehammer?
That would be amazing.
Oh my god. What
Um,
would I dress up as if I was going there? I guess just like, bald crew guy, right? Just like
Yeah,
fat construction worker overalls, or like tweed
right.
hunter. Like
Or you could just wear your 90s outfit, or 80s
you
outfit.
said, period. You didn't
Yeah.
say what
Yeah,
period.
exactly.
fucker.
So, Goodwood Festival of Speed, because with a lot of these cars, you've only seen pictures of them, and you've only been able to see them, the scale models of them, whatever. To actually be able to see them in the flesh, it's so cool. It's
Not only in the flesh, in
amazing.
motion.
Yeah, in motion,
Yeah.
and you're so close. Like they're just out there. They're in the pits. You could stand right next to it. You could smell it. You could feel it. When they start them up, it's the coolest thing ever.
And they're like, to me, I haven't been to Goodwood Festival of Speed, but having seen plenty of video and the live stream and all
Mhm.
that, like, it's cars, it seems that even car guys, like, I don't give a fuck about a Huracan or a
Yeah,
488.
yeah,
I
right.
see them driving around here all
Yeah,
the time.
yeah.
People who aren't jaded like us
Mhm.
lose their shit when they see a car like that.
Yeah.
And rightly so, because that's a lovely car and very pretty. And
Yeah.
sounds very cool. But, like, if you're jaded by stuff, you could show up there and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
here's like some concept car from the 80s running up the hill.
It's so cool.
Psycho
I mean, for
Formula
me,
One driver driving it.
for me, seeing the old F1 cars going
Oh,
10/10s up the hill and seeing like the McLaren F1 Longtail going uphill was so cool. Like just peeling out and just the sound of it and everything. It was just so cool to see these cars run.
They get real drivers driving them too, and they get real drivers. You put real drivers in fast cars,
Yeah.
and this becomes a race. Now it's a
Yes,
race.
Yes, and like I mean, the starting line is such a cool place to be. Like the F1 cars, the old F1 cars, to get them going, they have to like give it some gas, which
Oh,
therefore they do some crazy burnouts down the front straight or down the starting line. It's just too cool. And
Yeah, look
the
at video
best
of
part
any old pit stop for that.
now for me,
Is this you?
yeah,
2017.
yeah. Now for me, what's amazing is they've embraced drifting so much. Like they love it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Mad Mike. Mad
Von
Mike is the
Gittin,
king of that shit, right?
James Dean, like
There we
just
go.
so many
Goodwood Festival of Speed.
Yeah.
Look at that
Look,
ugly McLaren F1.
just parked on the lawn.
terrible.
Nobody want, like
Look at that. That's a handheld pan, and that's a good
Yeah.
one. That's
Yeah,
a good
well,
one.
Thank you. But that's
Oh,
anyone
touring
can get
cars.
that. Anyone can get that. These-
German touring cars. Look at that Audi. That Audi is rocking.
some of my favorite shots are from public areas, and that's what makes
this
it.
wall is like the shredder of
Oh.
cars, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing is, you see that people crash their cars or whatever.
Yeah. How does England react to Dale Earnhardt's Lumina? Is it a
Hey,
Lumina?
do it for Dale. Look at him doing a burnout, or it was a she, I think, maybe driving that.
Lovely.
But like, that's the thing is,
I love these psychos.
so cool. Look at this. This is such a cool crew. Like, this is drifting that's invaded Goodwood Festival Speed.
That's
I mean,
so cool. Well, it looks so good up the hill. I mean, it's a spectator sport,
oh, I told Vaughn and Chris to do tandem donuts. I told them. I was like, hey, on your last run in this little outcropping area, please do tandem donuts just to finish it off, because these people have never seen tandem donuts and it will blow their
lose
mind.
their shit?
It was crazy.
That's so cool.
It was so loud. It was just so cool.
Look at these old F1 cars.
So good.
Lotus. That's the gold, whatever Lotus.
And
that shit is so cool.
And after this, those guys.
What a great! Wow, look at that. Let me zoom out on here. That is with the sculpture in the back. I guess they build one of these crazy sculptures with cars every year.
Different one, yeah.
And,
this one's Bernie's.
Is that Mad Mike? Is that
no,
someone else in
that's
RX-7?
James Dean, the current FD champion.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Excuse me. He's RX-7 dude also.
Yeah, he's RX-7 dude.
Mad Mike I saw at Leadfoot Festival in New Zealand, which was
that's a great event.
cool. Which is a good small one. Okay, so number 3, Goodwood Festival of Speed, according to Larry Chen.
Number 4 would have to be Tokyo Auto Salon.
What? I've never been. What's that about?
So it's basically like the SEMA show, but in Japan.
Oh.
But the cool thing for me about that is all the things surrounding it, like all the things that happen, the meets, the cruises, the like RWB, for example, has like their own meet, and like all these other people within the Japanese car culture realm, like they kind of show what they're about, during that week. And it's in the wintertime, which is nice because it doesn't conflict with a lot of other events.
Is it more like the Detroit International Auto Show?
No,
or is it more like
so it is more like SEMA because it's all modified cars. Yeah,
Is
so
this?
like
the Weird and the Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's my kind of article.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So
let's see the weird
I
shit.
I shot all the weird stuff.
Decatura stuff.
Yeah. So this is
With
what's
a
cool.
furry in here. Boy, what doesn't? Wait, hang on.
How cool is this?
What doesn't this photo have? We've got a furry. We've got a Decatura K car with Lambo doors.
Right.
We've got whatever these. What are these two girls doing?
I don't even know.
Kabuki of some
I
kind.
don't even know. But everything about this is so fun. Everything about the event is so cool, and the event itself is cool. But like the meets afterwards, and the cars, and the everything, and another thing that I don't really, maybe I talk about in this, but that people don't really get the full experience of is the Japanese photographers. They just take it to the next level because a lot of them, they just go there for the girls.
Oh.
And then they
take it to the next level in terms of creepiness?
Yes, in terms of creepiness.
No.
But here's the
Wow,
thing.
look
It's
at
like
this GTR. Jesus Christ. Is that engraved?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow. That's unreal.
But like,
wait, what are these creepy guys doing?
So it's so funny. Like, I'll bring 3 cameras. I'll have 3 different focal lengths. These guys will bring 3 still cameras and 3 video cameras, and they'll even bring a printer with them, so they could print out. They could print out the photos that they take, and they get the girls to sign it right there.
Oh my god!
It's just another level of
Is this
like.
a car made of candy?
I don't think so.
I think it's a car made of candy.
This is just like a culture shock experience.
This looks crazy.
It's
this
so
is
cool.
like, wait, do they know how funny this is, right? They're aware, or is this serious
it's
for them?
kind of normal for them.
But they have.
I mean,
like,
they're
a sense
doing
of
it.
humor about this.
They're
stuff,
doing
right?
it because they can.
Right.
What
is that? What did that start as?
I don't even know. Probably a Lamborghini or something. I don't know.
What is that? I don't know.
But you want to talk about space? Like,
wow,
they park the cars so
really,
close together.
Close. That's a Mercy, but I don't know what that one is. I don't know.
Even know. But the point is that it is like the SEMA show in Japan.
Wow.
And you definitely need to check it out.
I absolutely have to check it out. This looks fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Awesome. Okay, number 4, Tokyo Auto Salon.
Number 4, Tokyo Auto Salon. Number
No,
5.
I'm 0 for 4 in attending any of these events that you're talking about. 0 for 4.
Number 5. I'm sure you've been to. I think everyone should experience an NHRA event like Top Fuel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ding.
Yeah.
1 for 5.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's one where you literally feel the horsepower.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, I've shot NHRA quite a bit, but no matter what I can do, I try my best, and I tell myself, I'm like, all right, car's about to go. I'm not gonna flinch. I'm not gonna flinch. I'm not gonna flinch. And then when the car goes,
Every
what do I
time.
do? I flinch,
You
and
just
then
can't not
and then
flinch.
I shudder. I have like a poop shudder. Like my whole body shakes, and you know you got to like shake it off.
Yes.
It's the craziest
the
thing.
shockwave of a Top Fuel
The
drag car
the
is
shockwave.
so strong.
You-
It's so strong. I've felt it before. It's
yeah,
insane.
people don't realize how strong it is, especially for me. I'm literally standing 2 feet away from it, you know, and
I've been in the grandstands. I've never been standing in the
It's-
start box.
it's insane. I
for
have to
Top
wear
Fuel.
2 sets of earplugs. I wear one in my ear and one over my ear.
Do you wear noise canceling over the ear?
No,
Just
no.
Beastie,
Just beastie foam ones. And the thing is,
and
like,
it's still like death loud, right?
it's not that it's loud. It shakes your body. That's what
Yeah.
gets it. Like, it shakes my stomach, and it's crazy to me that I can get any pictures at all.
I
Because
can't believe you
my,
can.
my body just spazzes out no
It
matter what I
doesn't-
try.
Does it affect the camera?
Yeah, it does. So here's the thing: if you try to film it, you guys should try this. By the way, if you guys go to a Top Fuel event, try filming it with your cell phone, and it'll actually shake the lens on your cell phone when it goes, when the
Really?
shockwave hits you. Yeah. So I try to do a video, and then like it gets blurry, like
That's so
it goes out of focus because it shakes it. You know.
Yeah.
But when you're that close, like it's
So
knocked
do you need
my.
like some super durable gangster lens to shoot it?
I know it's shaking my camera, so like I just guess, you know, I guess when they go with that whatever 12,000 horsepower or whatever, there's just so much guessing when I'm shooting that.
I forget. Is there a starter there operating the tree for Top Fuel? Is there a guy who still stands there like he
Yeah.
would for a normal
I
like
think
drag
so.
racing
Yeah,
night?
yeah. And then
Imagine that guy's gig. The from both sides over and over.
you know the thing is, a lot of those people are used to it. A lot of those people are used to nitro. That's another thing is when you go to a Top Fuel event, you can actually go to the pits where they break in the motors.
yes.
And you can get baptized by nitro, which is you stand right next to the motor when it's just going off, and you're just getting blasted in the face with nitro.
that stuff like burns your face.
Well, the thing is, when I'm shooting them and when I'm right next to them, I breathe it in, and it actually burns my lungs.
Yeah. When
Yeah.
I forget who it was, Sam Hubinet.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be around whenever I was around his car. I think it was that Viper he
Yeah.
was driving that burned alcohol or something.
Challenger?
The Challenger
yeah.
burned
yeah.
alcohol, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you couldn't. I was setting up cameras on it,
Yeah.
and you couldn't get anywhere near it because your face
Oh
would
my
feel
god,
like it was on
yeah,
fire.
yeah. So
Oh.
that's the thing is like, it's just such a visceral experience, and I mean, I get a lot of people are like, oh, they're just going straight. What you don't realize is how much they're correcting in that 3 to 4
Oh,
seconds,
yeah.
5 seconds, whatever. When
Like
I'm
full
shooting,
lock on
yeah,
the
when
steer.
I'm shooting from behind them, especially like if I'm on top of a building shooting them going away from me, it's crazy how many little corrections they're doing just to keep it straight,
Yeah.
and it's going up to 300 miles per hour. It just blows my
You
mind
couldn't
that
pay me enough.
Yeah.
How fast? How
Yeah.
fast do you think mentally and physically you'd be capable of going down a drag strip if
Listen.
someone taught you how to do it?
already my 911 Turbo scares me. It's
Have
scary.
you taken it to the drag strip with that car?
No, but I mean, I've taken it to the track, and I'm like, I'm going 140 or 150 right now. Like, if something happens, like, I'm dead. You know, no cage.
What's done to that thing? Anything?
Just like ECU and exhaust and all these little things.
Bolt-on stuff?
Yeah, bolt
Does
on.
that car work good?
It's fast. I mean, that's the thing is you don't appreciate slow cars until you have a fast car. You
Mhm.
understand this.
Yeah.
I love slow cars now. I'm all about it.
Because you can use them?
Well, because you could floor it all the time.
Yeah.
And especially on the street. Like, for example, one of the cars that I like to drive on the street and off-road is my FJ Cruiser. It's a 6-speed manual.
Mhm.
And I'm literally hitting red line every single stoplight on the street. And I look over, and there's like a
The Prius next to
Prius
you.
next to me
Yeah.
doing the same speed because I'm literally going as fast as I can. you know, and that's what's the fun thing about it, you know.
I know what you mean. I've had some slow cars that I really enjoy.
Oh, they're the
But
best.
the slow car also needs to be able to take a lot of abuse. If you have a
Yes.
slow, fragile car, that's
No, that's
bad.
not fun.
That's
No,
not good.
No,
Well, you see what I drove here? The
no.
ultimate slow car, my scooter,
You're the one taking up that whole
my
space.
125.
That's
Not that
amazing.
whole space. It's 5 o'clock on a Friday. Who's gonna come park here?
That's amazing.
Yeah, dude, the scooter 125 is the slow car.
Oh, that's so good.
I drive my scooter as if there are no speed limits because for me there aren't.
Right. You're going as fast as that thing.
I
can
mean,
go.
I max out at like 52. Like, you know, you can't get a ticket at 52 in Los Angeles.
That's
it's not
why.
possible.
That's why it's fun.
Fuck yeah. It's more fun. I had a real motorcycle for a while. The scooter's more fun. I prefer the scooter.
Well, how often could you floor a real motorcycle?
Not very often.
Oh.
Every time I rode the motorcycle in a manner that motorcycle deserved to be ridden in, I scared myself every single time.
Okay.
Whereas I ride the fucking scooter all the time, and I'm chilling.
That sounds like
It's
such a
lovely.
good time.
Thanks for coming by, buddy.
Dude,
I
thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much for
It's
having
always
me.
it's always a treat to have you. This time in Studio B. Well, now that we have such lovely assets, we can
awesome.
share
Yeah.
your photography. I am going to have a couple of posters made of some of the shots that you took, and I'll have a giveaway on Instagram.
Oh,
I'll have
great.
you sign them.
Oh, looking forward to that.
Before we do that, and because the pictures are so fucking good.
Thank
I'm gonna
you.
print that one of me in the sweater real big and send it to my mother.
I love that. I love that.
You can check out Larry's work on speedhunters.com.
Yeah.
Is it basically almost daily that your stuff is up there, right?
I mean, it's tough, you know. I try to contribute as much as I can, but
It's a lot.
yeah, it's a lot. And definitely check out the Hoonigan YouTube channel.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're like we didn't even get to that. You're like a regular on Hoonigan now.
Yeah, and it's nice because it's just a different medium, you know. But I could still do cool things. I could still meet cool people. I could still shoot.
Yeah.
But it's just a different way of telling that story.
It's always really great when like the people that are actually behind the camera, because usually I don't know about you. I became a photographer because I didn't like being in pictures. And that was my way out of being in pictures, was to take the pictures.
Right. Look how
And
that worked.
eventually I got some confidence and it went the other way.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like were you like that, or did you just like the art of it, or what was it?
Yeah, it's not that I didn't like it. It's just that I just never really got introduced to it, you know. And the nice thing is people are interested in what I'm doing, you know.
Yeah.
So I want to tell that story. I don't really want it to go to waste. And if anything, people like you and I and Jay Leno and you know, there's car culture enthusiasts in general. We're like pushing that agenda for car culture and
Yeah.
car stuff. You know, like we're making the new generation of fans and keeping the ones that are, you know, interested in cars. So I mean, it's the
You got a
best.
big torch to carry there, Larry. Big torch. No, I feel you. I
Yeah.
feel you.
Yeah.
And video's fun. I mean, I love Scotto, and I like those guys a lot. They make me laugh every time I'm down
They're
there.
the best.
You can't bring anything shiny.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, like, how many views did your video get?
a
Like,
lot.
It's crazy.
It got a lot.
Yeah.
I did a daily transmission, and I didn't do anything. Show up, to tell a few stories,
There
and
you
do a
go.
burnout. Is
Yeah,
no big
you
deal.
should bring your 911 by, and you don't.
I
Have to,
will when it's done.
Yeah, you don't have to do a
I'm
burnout,
not.
but
Didn't the guys with that Alpha fucking yumped it and
Oh
just
my God.
trashed their car?
So that's the thing is I've been bringing cars that don't do burnouts, and you know I think that's kind
That's
of
the
part of it too. You know, like it's not every car is supposed to do a burnout.
Yeah.
You know. And,
No, mine. I don't really think my 911 will do burnouts. It will on loose surface, probably.
mm,
I'm very excited for that car.
Oh, I
You'll
can't
have
wait.
to come do a thing
Yeah.
with me. Which
I'd love
reminds
that.
me, Lee Keen, who's building my car, is
Uh-huh.
putting together a 911 Safari off-road trip with
Ooh,
10 Safaris. Do
that's
you want to
amazing.
go?
I would love to go.
All right, I think we can work that
Yeah.
out.
You s-
What?
No, because I did the ice one. Oh, which by the way, you should probably drive.
Ice driving?
You should drive that.
Did you do it with Richard Tuttle? Who did you do
No,
it
I
with?
did it with the Kelly Moss Road and Race guys.
Oh,
the
was it
Vici auction guys.
amazing?
It was so cool. It was all-wheel drive, and we drove it in the snow on the ice.
Did you do some driving?
Yeah, I drove it.
Oh, that's
Yeah, and
so awesome.
That was a full Hoonigan DTT video.
And that was the 4-wheel drive Safari car,
yes,
right?
yes, Safari
That's
4.
so
Yeah,
cool.
it was so cool. It was
Was
so
it
fun.
widened as well? Like
It
long
was,
traveled?
and it was supercharged, and
Oh my
it just
God,
made
was it
so
Kelly
much
Moss?
power. Yeah, Kelly Moss Safari 4.
We're gonna get a picture of it because it was
Yeah.
great. I remember seeing it at where did I see it? Is that it?
No. If you go back, there's a Speedhunters article.
Oh,
on it.
okay.
Yeah.
Speedhunters.
Or maybe you have to type in Speedhunters too.
I'm under pressure. When you try and get things under pressure.
Yeah.
Sand surfing 911 style.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I drove it in the sand and I drove it in the snow.
Ooh.
But this was in the sand.
Was it more fun in the sand or in the snow?
It was different. You know, I had so much more traction in the sand.
This is like 959 body work.
So cool. It's the best. Yeah, that's my assistant shooting me driving.
Cool.
Yeah.
How fun.
It was.
And then
so
what's
much
this
fun.
other one, this black one here?
So that one's the 2-wheel drive version.
Cool. What did you prefer, the 2-wheel drive or the 4-wheel drive?
I
Getting
only drove
back to back.
I only drove the 4-wheel drive version.
Okay.
And man, I couldn't believe how much traction I had in the sand.
Did it rotate properly? Did it
So
drift?
This rotates on throttle, and it has very small steering angle.
Okay.
Like very minimal steering angle, but
Like a
you could-
WRC car almost.
I've never driven a double.
Like, well, I've
WRC
never
car.
driven one either,
Yeah.
but you everything is here to here.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, it didn't have much lock, but you could just control it so much with the throttle.
Cool.
And when you thought that you lost it, you could just floor it, and then it would bring it back.
That's awesome.
That's just what it made it cool, you know.
That's cool.
Yeah.
The rear wheel drive
But
car.
I mean, like you could see me just
oh yeah, look.
totally concentrating on that.
The rear wheel drive car. Went too far.
That's
Where'd
okay.
you go?
Yeah.
I've drove Lee's personal car, which
Yeah.
led to me getting my own or
Right.
order, whatever.
Oh, so that's
And-
what you're building, a safari car?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's gonna be so fun.
Yeah, rear wheel drive.
I'm just so glad that this is a thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here, look, our roads in LA are getting worse and worse.
Right.
You know, the canyons are nice, but there's a whole car for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we're talking about everything else now.
Right.
The roads I drive on every day are fucking horrible. The highways are horrible. The
Right.
Venice roads are horrible. And then with speed limits and shit, we have reached the cars are now faster than we should be going.
Yeah.
on the roads.
Without a doubt.
Like I just had that 4GT for a day. Like I shouldn't be allowed to do, and I'm not allowed to do the things I was doing. But I
Right.
was doing them.
Yeah.
And people are going to start dying or
Yeah.
sailing off a cliff. But you can go out to the desert. We've got so much desert.
I know. And I
one
watched
cares.
the video that you did of that 240Z one.
Yeah, the
That was
Peking
so
to Paris.
cool. Yeah.
They finished the Peking to Paris.
That's amazing.
did,
So
yeah.
like I feel like that's such a cool movement in car culture.
Yeah.
that I love. And
The dynamics all translate to
It's
the
so
dirt.
good.
Like
It's
a
so good.
good car that drives well on tarmac
Right.
will drive well on dirt.
exactly. And if you build it right, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, my 911 is not nearly as complicated as the one that you had looked like a professional grade rally car, basically.
Well, that one cost about $300,000.
Yeah, we're not doing
that.
that. But I bet you I can get you an 80% approximation of that
Mm-hmm.
that'll more civil on the street with air conditioning and a stereo and all that shit for less than a third of that.
And here's the thing about that car is you're not trying to win any races anyways. You're just
No,
having
no.
fun for yourself.
No.
You know, and that's what's cool about it.
Cruising.
Yeah. That's what's so awesome is you can enjoy it that way.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, it's
Yeah.
going to be delightful. It's
Yeah.
going to be delightful.
Cool.
Well, thank you for joining me on
Thank
a
you.
Friday afternoon, Larry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to send you back into traffic.
No
That sucks.
worries.
At least you have a nice Lexus Land Cruiser. The
Yeah.
Lexus Land Cruiser is a good used buy, I think.
Oh, it's the best.
They're the best. Larry_Chen_ FOTO on Instagram, or just search Larry Chen. You'll find
There
him
you
right
go.
away. Of course, I am the Smoking Tire on Instagram. And, watch us on YouTube. Leave a comment. The visual of this podcast, we're about 80% audio, 20% video watching. The video is going to be helpful. We looked all in the background of us talking for a lot of the show. I was scrolling through Larry's photographs of what we were talking about. So check out us, the podcast on YouTube this week. As usual, Smoking Tire Podcast is powered by Shout Engine. Get your own damn podcast at shoutengine.com. You know the drill. This is not new. Lastly, Carcraft Magazine. I'm on the cover. It came out the same week as Larry's story, but this one's in print, and my dad's going to be proud of me. So thank you to John McGann for choosing my car to put on the cover of that magazine. That's very nice of you. Thanks, Larry.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. It's always a pleasure.
It's been fun.
All right. Goodbye, guys.